guys, Michael here. It's crazy. It has actually been almost the 6-month mark to where I actually shot my first video with my daughter Haley showing the Ultimate Gallery. And I have learned so much, and most importantly, I've met so many great people, friends out there now, and it's just been a blast. And I was talking to my sidekick Gabe on Collection Wars that, hey, it's been a little bit, since I did the initial one, so I thought, you know what, 6 months in, there's been a lot of updates to the gallery collection and things that obviously are still in the works, but I thought I would give you guys a tour of where we are today. So let's get started, okay? So right now I'm in just a small little office that I actually am getting ready to gut and completely do a complete shelving system in here. But one thing, this is kind of where I open up things and whatnot, and where I have a lot of my originals, like my action figures over there, and just some of my fun little trinkets. And over here, you can see I've got the Gentle Giant mini busts, which I absolutely love these things. I try to stick around. I buy pretty much just the ones that I really like, kind of like the Hot Toys. I don't necessarily have all the different films, but I like the original ones. And then when it comes to art and posters, I've got all kinds of posters, different ones that are custom or old posters. I'm constantly fixing. These are for old Celebration posters, originals, and whatnot. And then one thing that I'm very proud of is right here. I was inspired by Tom Spina Designs carbonite desk that they built, and I decided that I would try to build one myself, and I had such a great time building this thing. I used just a regular door, which I found out through so many different people. I don't really get on like RPFs and whatnot, but I did a little bit of research, and this is the Han Solo carbonite. And what was really cool with this piece here, I used, instead of glass on the top, I used plexi. Plexi's awesome. The only thing is it scratches a lot easier than glass, so you got to be a little bit more careful. This right here, I actually had some panels left over from when we originally designed the gallery upstairs, so I was able to use these pieces and just put some back LED lights in there so it doesn't get hot or anything. We showed this on one of our shows. We were doing the prop shop the one that went out of business, and then this one is the EFX version, which displays really cool. Right behind you here, let me show you. I've showed you guys this before. This really means a lot to me. I have all of them, but it's funny because I still haven't put all of the cards in there when I finally got the collection. And what's cool about these, I remember when I was 7 years old riding my bicycle to Mr. M's, the local corner store, and I would take the bottles. I know this makes me sound really old, but I would take the old bottles and I would get money back for them, and I would go and trade the money in and get cards. And I was going to tell you, what's cool about these is they're not real expensive. You can get, you can find these on eBay and whatnot and get your whole the complete collection, which is really cool. Really, really cool. And one that's pretty funny, a lot of them know and a lot of them don't, but I will tell you, there's the X-rated version, which is kind of funny. It kind of looks like he's got a package hooked up right there. I don't know if it was a joke. Nobody really knows the true story of it, but it's a cool story. But yeah, these are cool. So look, I'm going to take you guys upstairs to the gallery. I got the smelter droid here in the works, and hopefully he's okay with it. So this is a 3D printed life-size 8D8 smelter droid, and I'm in the process right now of getting all the body work done. I'm starting at his head. You can see where I'm doing all the sanding and sculpting, and I'm going to do the LED eyes on it. It's really cool. I'm trying to determine, I've got a power droid that I built that I was going to kind of do a little diorama scene with him, but we'll check it out and see. But let me take you guys upstairs. Come on up here. So coming up the hallway, you'll see I have a variety. They're not in order. There's just so many. There's thousands, literally, of Star Wars posters. And these lead the way to the gallery. Sorry, the lighting's not real good down in the hallway coming up. Hey, R2. I'm good. I'm going to show the guys the gallery real quick. It's been a while. Okay. Hey, I'm trying to show them. Be quiet. And I love all of the original posters. I'm obviously I like the original trilogies. But coming up into the gallery, so here's a wide shot you can see of how the gallery's set up. This is right at 3,000 total square feet of upstairs, and we have a little bit more square footage for our theater room, which I'll show you at the end of the video. So starting out up here behind you, I did it's pretty much like a vinyl wrap like you see that they do on cars, but I actually had it done inside the gallery. I love Yoda, and it worked out really good, this print, and it kind of blends in. I love that. I didn't want a blank wall. I just wanted to kind of have something there, and since all the posters and artwork, I thought that would look pretty cool. But if you stare at that for a second, it's cool because it blends in. It's really, really cool. And right here is the Wonder Bread original cards. Kind of like they're real similar to the top cards. They did it for a lot of the different movies back in the 70s, and that's all they came out with. And then I've got a shadow box here of the original 12-back action figures, which are really cool. And over here, I love Jawas. Here's my life-size Jawas. I'm putting some custom eyes in here. We've already done a custom gun. The guys that did this for me, I can't remember his name, but he's out of Arizona. Very reasonable price, and they look legit. I think they're really, really cool. And as a lot of you guys know, I'm a huge diorama guy. I love dioramas. I think it takes whatever it is that you have or you're building, and it displays so much better with a diorama. In this case, this is a Randy Cooper original. I call it studio scale. It's not an actual studio scale size that they used in the movie, but it still counts as a studio model to me. And this was the actual original one that Randy built, and then cast the molds off of this. And it's cool. I've got some little Jawas on there, and you guys can see in the background here, I did the twin suns, and I did some vinyl wrapping. And what's really cool is I did backlighting on this, so I can change the mood of the actual clouds in the background. This is actually one of my favorite dioramas, and it was my first diorama that I built. And this is all out of foam core. And here's another Jawa here. And here's an Atticus Jawa statue. And right behind it, this piece here is just, it's amazing. This is almost 4 feet long. Jason Eaton, I think he did maybe 9 of these. And Mike Salzo built this for me. And the detail of the engines, the cockpit, it does light up. Just to kind of give you an idea on scale, those of you that are into statues, this is a premium format quarter scale statue. So that kind of gives you an idea. It's not exact scale, but it's really, really close. And this is the one that you see in the pictures when they were making the original Star Wars. You could see the $6 Million Man figure in there. And they actually used that for a few pickup shots. Working our way, since we're right here, this is another Salzo beautiful scratch-built New Hope Death Star. And it is not accurate to the original, which is 3 feet. This one here is 2 feet. And I said it in my private video that I did just on the Death Star, but every one of these holes painstakingly was drilled out, and the labor that's involved in this is absolutely amazing. The original, a lot of people don't know, was a half sphere anyway, so they had half of it and it was backlit on the other side of it. But yeah, that one was, again, 3 feet and this one's 2. Just for shipping, and I didn't want it to show up in a bunch of pieces, so I figured 2 feet would be good enough. I do kind of wish I would have pulled the trigger on the 3 foot, but I love this. This thing's really cool. And I do have down lighting on it as well. And what's really cool about the pedestal is the way we did this. It kind of, where you're standing right there looking in through you can see it looks like it's actually floating there. It's really, really, it's beautiful. And it's, studio. I count all my models that are scratch built studio models, but I wanted this to have its own, it deserved its own reckoning right there. And it just fits beautiful. Moving on. Here, I guess you guys might have seen it, might not have. This is a life size. I know it was the first one out of the gate. It's not actually completed yet, but this is a life size probe droid. We used 2-inch clear plexi, foam core, and we're still working on the light and actually the lenses, and we're still working on some of the colors. This thing is pretty heavy. It's huge. This thing's almost 8.5 feet tall. It's crazy big. We also have a plaque that we're going to be putting on a lot of the models and whatnot in here that are being custom made, thanks to my buddy Lee. Over here is, a lot of you guys might have seen it, it's the Atticus Falcon. It's the Escape from the Death Star metal collection. And I was really blessed to get a lot of their original pieces from Atticus. Like here's the prototypes and here's the originals here. And kind of give you an idea. Here's some of the more of the prototypes right there. Kind of the process of how it worked. This thing is so awesome. It's really close. This is like action figure size, so I love it. Over here is probably my actual favorite diorama versus the Jawas. But I do like this. My wife and Haley helped me with this. I sculpted the little monster in here, and it was cool because when we did this one, we did the water in here, and I'd never worked with this material before, and it started bubbling up, and I was like, crap, and we had the dye colors mixed and everything. But with the bubbles, it just kind of gave it that swampy, bubbly look from Empire, and I was like, badass, it worked out. So this is an actual Mike Salzo, which they call the Salzo version, studio scale X-Wing that we have sitting in here. I can just stare into this thing with the right lighting. It's so awesome. I think in a collection, lighting is everything. It's really, really cool for your collection. This right here, I've talked about it a few times in my videos. This is an actual Atticus from the metal collection that was never released when they were going to do the Dagobah scene, but with all the issues that they had from the Escape from the Death Star Falcon, they scratched that. But yeah, that's a grail piece to me. I love it. And where the heart is right here. Let me show you. This is starting up on the top. It's not in chronological order at all. I've got all of the complete line of the original 12-inch dolls. I don't have the prototypes. I just have the originals. I love this thing right here. This one's pretty cool. The good old days. I got all the Star Wars deals. They had those quite a bit, $6 Million Man and whatnot. And these are cool. This little piece right here was given to me by my mom, and it's probably out of my whole complete collection one of my most prized pieces. You can find this for $20 online. It's crazy. And I was looking for this stand. This is the original stand that they used back in the day. And I remember as a kid, looking in the toy stores and seeing that, and they had all of the X-Wings and the Vaders and whatnot. But yeah, I finally was able to find this. It's a really cool piece. And then they had the die-cast collection, a lot of you guys remember. And here's the TIE Bomber. That's the hard-to-get one. I do have all the little pieces for it. Look, it's terrible, but it's a 45-year-old model, a toy cast. And that plastics, if you guys see how it's yellowed there, it's been stored in the right temperatures. Unfortunately, I was told there's some people out there who put them in peroxide and they put them in the sun, and it actually helped and whitened the whole thing. But within 4 or 5 months, it colored again, and I don't want to take the chance of doing any type of damage to it, even though I don't ever plan on selling it. But I mean, that's original, and just take it from that. Since we're on the top, I'll just stay up here. Kind of like I said, it's not in order. I had to do it because I was limited on my heights of my toys. I like the original Death Star space station, the Rebel transport. It's goofy looking, but it was cool. I had a lot of fun with that. This was one of my favorite toys, was the AT-AT. You know, I love playing with that thing. And I kind of kept the same. This is the Empire snow area with the Tauntauns and Probe Droid, and everybody knows the Snow Speeder. This one right here is a very hard to find, probably one of the nicest condition pieces you'll ever find. The top of the lens and everything that they used for this thing, they're usually yellow real bad, and this one's completely clear still. And this, they had a Canadian version, and then a European version as well. This right here, you can recognize these from the X-Wing, and it came with 2 stormtroopers. I still have the guns in the bags and stuff. So, and this one actually you can do more with, believe it or not, if you're a kid playing, in my humble opinion, than you can with this one here that was from the States. And this is the mail-away collector stand here. I love this. This one, this is really cool. And these are not, none of this is repro. This is all original. And back here you've got the Sears Cantina, or the original blue Jawa. I'm sorry, the Snaggletooth came with that. And look at that character. He's awesome. Oh, that's me. And then they also, a lot of people don't know that they had the Little Eddie, the Mexican version Jawa. It's really cool because it has a removable cape top, and then it had the gun that is very similar to the twin pod cloud card pilot gun. And of course there's the Power of the Force yak face. I used to have that tri logo and don't have that anymore, unfortunately. Moving down, again, not in order. So here's the original X-Wing. I do have both versions. They've got a battle damaged one. I just don't have it on display. The original Falcon, they had another version of those. This is another Sears piece right here, the Bestman, and it came with the 3 action. Actually, these 4 action figures, and these were brand new out of the package. I opened them. Moving down, let me see some of the others. I'll move along a little bit faster. I loved the mini rigs. The mini rigs were so cool. If you look up here, here's a couple of the mini rigs deals. I love these things. And we got to speak with Kim Simmons, who did a lot of the photography on our collection wars. It was a great honor talking to him on the show. Moving on down, here's the Ewoks. This is all Return of the Jedi. The TIE Interceptor. The Destroyer. There's another mini rig here, and then of course I've got all the die-cast metal mini collections set, and then there's a model kit back there. These are all the things that were mine when I was a kid, so it means a lot more to you when you have those. And here's a complete of the collector cases. Started out there, and then we've got all the others on the bandolier and whatnot I have on this other shelf. The Mighty Jabba and the popular this year Rancor. So far, so that's the vintage collection. Okay, we're going to move on this way to some more life-size. You know what? Let's show this one. This is IG-88. A lot of people know now the IG-11 from Mandalorian. So a lot of people that don't know, IG-88 is a lot taller. So IG-11, I believe he's around the 6-foot range, where IG-88, this is legit height, and I do have him on a custom stand that I built that lights up. But I did go ahead and do a light in here. It's pretty cool. You can see it on my Star.Killer 77 if you want to just see the IG-88. But this is a 3D print. I scratch built. The guy that did it, when he did it, I put it all together. It was crazy. It was in hundreds of pieces, it felt like, but it came together really, really cool. I got rid of a lot of the 3D printing lines, but the ones that were still on there, I mean, it looks like it's part of the metal. It's really cool. All right, this is fun. So here is the Don Post 3PO. And his eyes do light up. I can tell you respectfully that as a licensed piece, this is hands down the best sculpt 3PO that's ever been done, available to the public. It's a very rare piece. Don Post is a super classy guy. He's retired. We had him on Collection Wars too, and that was a great honor. And it was cool, finding out how a lot of this stuff was done. Next we've got R2-D2. This R2 has a story, and very few people know the details of this because it's in my collection, but I just will tell you that there are some parts on this one that were actually screen used. This right here, you can see he's a little beat up. Right here, right R2, you a little beat up? You're not bad. We've got Kenny Baker's signature on there. And then right here you can see where we got Kenny. He always likes to take the show. But this is Kenny actually signing it. And right here we've got the limited edition. I think they did 18 of these. The CZ3. The original one was to my buddy Pete. I'm glad they did this. Of course, this is a Regal Robot. And Tom and the gang over there. A couple of their other maquette pieces. I do have the Tauntaun maquette, which is, out of the maquettes, absolutely my favorite. And we modified that. If you guys haven't seen it, it's got a rider that we custom built, and we actually painted the Tauntaun where he's legit. This is unbelievable. The guy, Tom Spina, before actually Regal Robot took place, Tom built this thing for me, him and his gang over there. And I've told this story a few times, but we premiered this at Celebration Chicago, and Peter Mayhew, that was his last event, and he was sick at the show, and he was supposed to do some signings, and he did do signings, but he got sick the first day, and it was terrible. It was because it was so crazy, and he got behind, and he wasn't able to sign the bust Chewies that Tom did. He did 50 of them, and unfortunately he wasn't able to sign it. But I was fortunate at the show. One of the staff that works very closely to Peter, I took the leather pouch that Tom and his gang built, and I had Peter was able to sign the back of it. You can see right there, and I had Tom sign it as well, because I'm proud of that piece. This is just you don't see this every day, and his head adjusts different. What's cool is if I have his head tilt down, it's a total different expression. I love that. Here we've got life-size Bespin Luke. I'm going to tell you guys, I've never been happy with the way I've done with the mannequin body. He's a short guy, so it was very difficult to make it so accurate. The head sculpt, it doesn't get any better than this, period. This is an absolute amazing head sculpt. What the game plan is to go back and do a Jedi Knight version in black. So, because I'm not done with his hands and whatnot. And it's an Icon's lightsaber, one of the originals that were made. Right here is just finished 2 weeks ago. Life-size Vader. I've got some little things to do still on it. So many people to mention that did this. I will just say thank you to all of y'all, because it was fantastic. It's just, this is the Empire version. I think he sits really good. I've got the custom controls that we put just to kind of give it more of a realistic look to it. The boots came out of Russia. It's what they used in the original film. The leathers all his inners out of Argentina. My buddy Manny did all of the electronics and stuff on it. Really, really cool. Okay, moving on. We've got Don Post Stormtrooper life size. This is my original life size prop that I've had since. I think Don actually was one of the first Star Wars licensees, actually, and that got into this for sure. This means a lot to me, this piece here. Okay, we're just going to fall into whatever we fall into. Let's fall into the studio scale Slave 1. This guy right here, this is the actual scale size that they used in Empire Strikes Back. It's crazy because when you see this on the screen and whatnot, you have no idea how big or how small this thing is. And when you see this, look at the scale of the actual Boba Fett. And it lights up. I'm sorry I don't have it lit right now. But and then these aren't going to stay here. I just have some statues that randomly everywhere. For you Hot Toys collectors, here's my line of the Star Wars Empire. I like Rogue One, but let's start from the top. Again, they're not in order. It's just because of my room. I'm way out of room, and we're going to be doing dioramas, which is going to be in a whole other gallery that we'll talk about at the end of this video. So right over here, this is Mandalorian dude. This right here is awesome piece right here, the Tauntaun. It comes with 2 different head sculpts, so you could have your Han rider or your Luke rider. And here's the Han. I knew I should have bought 2 Tauntauns. I didn't, and now they're hard to get. I've got the Imperial Probe Droid. That's a really, really nice piece. Jason Eaton, friend, and that does a lot of model work for my buddy Mike. They work a lot together. He had his hands in on that. The Dewback, this one right here is my actual favorite sideshow piece, and a lot of my friends as well. Congratulations, Matt. I know you just got yours. Cool. Moving on over here, we've got Jabba the Hutt. And you know, occasionally it's kind of funny. I get people that do send me gifts and whatnot, which is super awesome. My buddy John sent me this custom sculpt of Leia, so I know that her busts aren't quite that big, but it's a really cool Fison doll. If you ever look at their stuff, I don't know if they're owned by Hot Toys, but I think they've got a lot to do with each other, but their head sculpts and whatnot are awesome. Gamorrean Guard, he's trying to tell him Jedi mind trick. Moving down, this is the Empire version. I'm your father. Emperor. This is cool, the Mandalorian. He's cool. I've got Yoda, the Dagobah Hutt. This was actually a gift from a good friend of mine, John, who gifted that to me, which was just very kind. And this right here is the original speeder bike. Speeder bikes are beautiful. They are a pain in the butt to display because things keep falling off. Moving into kind of the New Hope stuff here. My favorite is Chewie. They use an awesome Chewie. It's a Hot Toys piece. Same with the Han, and this is actually a custom. Here, this is not a Hot Toys. This is a Fison doll with a custom head that I did with her. Moving down, Rogue One, which, you know, if there's any movies besides Star Wars Empire and Return, it would be Rogue One, hands down. It's an awesome, awesome movie. Just got this in about 2 weeks ago. This is a really cool one. Here's IG-11. I like the mythos. It tells a story. Look at that guy. I mean, there's just, if you're a kid playing, man, you just go to town. Here's Obi-Wan, and I'm sure in the new Obi-Wan series we're going to see this stage, which will be really cool. It can be wide open. Hope they show a young Luke Skywalker in that one. Anyways, moving down, I do have some of the Solo. I get the ones that I think are really cool, and the Darth Maul. This guy is really cool. And then moving down the bottom, I've just got a variety of different statues. I've never been a real statue guy, but I get the ones that I like and that I've had for a long time. The sculpts, you can see that one there. It's not the best, but it's from a long time ago. And that's Luke Bespin. And then I've got one of the McQuarrie Stormtroopers, and it's got 2 different heads on it. And here I got 3PO and R2. They all light up. This piece is really cool. I'm gonna have that on my desk in my other office. And then I love this guy. He's really, really neat. And that's an Atticus. If you look at this Atticus Sand Trooper Tusken Raider, I had a buddy of mine. I told him I wanted to do a life-size one of those, and he did it right here. I don't remember the details that went into it, but the way he did that, let's start from the feet and work our way up. I mean, the shoes, the wrappings, it's the same type of material that they used in the film. This is all real leather stuff that they used in World War II. I don't know the details, if it was from the Russian army or the German. I can't remember. But it's a pretty cool head sculpt. Numerous times I've almost stuck myself with that. So let's back up a little bit and we'll go into, everybody has seen this one. This is, if you haven't, a 16-foot trench. It's almost 5 feet wide and 16 feet long. The tiles are not accurate, but it looks like they're in motion. And this is the X1. And Steve, forgive me, because he just hates that I don't have this all tucked in and stuff. I just have been busy, got a lot of stuff going on. And that's another Salzo, that's Red 5, and chasing him down. And since we're on this piece right here, let's kind of casually come around this way, follow me. And then we'll go back into the trench. But first, here's a Studio Blue Leader that Ben Yetter did, and did a fantastic job, like on all of his models that he's done for us. This right here, look how big this bad boy is. This AT-AT here, another scratch Salzo build. It's damn near 4 feet tall. We got a Studio chicken walker, and it worked out perfect because it's actual scale. And same with this MP3 snow speeder that Ben painted up for me. And I am going to have a guy dive in. I got to do a few little things. And I love doing all the snow and whatnot. This is all baking soda. And then coming around, this is, everybody knows the twin pod cloud car. And I got the McQuarrie background on it. And it lights up, it's beautiful. Coming around right to right here, we have the legendary scale Obi-Wan Kenobi statue. And then underneath that, we've got Vader. And I believe he's a 3rd scale. Yeah, he's awesome. I love 3rd scale. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but he looks like he's 3rd scale to me. Okay, we'll get to this. Well, I guess let's start with this right here since we're here. Starting back, this right here is a life-size Kenner R2-D2. I mean, it clicks. I've showed this before. Watch. It's badass, that piece. This was my first action figure, so it's that much more special to me. I'm glad I was able to get my hands on it because it's not an easy find at all. So Gentle Giant created the 12-inch line of figures, and what they did is they 3D scanned the original action figures and created them in a 12-inch. For example, here you have your Kenner version, and you can see when they 3D scanned them, it's off the exact same mold. Look how beautiful that is after 3D scan. So here were the original 12-back figures, which, you know, like a lot of people out there, they just wanted to get these. And then they came out with the vinyl cape Jawa. And I do have some of my original in the package vintage figures of all of these. I have a lot of figures and stuff that I don't have out on display. But like we got the Power Droid here, R5, the vinyl cape Jawa in the package. And then showing some of the prototype of the Bobas. X-Wing snaggletooth. And this one was really cool. I don't know how many people out there, if you're a viewer and you have this piece, this back deal, it isn't like this one over here where the cardstock is a lot thicker, so there's no problems. With this, it bowed. So what I did is I put a backing on it, and I just used a hot glue gun, and it worked out beautiful. So it's solid. So if you have this piece, that's what I recommend that you do. Okay, so going up here, we got, it's the complete collection to date so far, what has come out. Got spider webs in here. I need some people to come help me clean this place. Of course, everybody knows Wicket. But yeah, let's just do a slow pan on some of these. You know, this guy right here, this is, you know, they got Zuckuss and Forlom. They switched them. This guy is Zuckuss and will always be Zuckuss. This is Forlom and will always be Forlom. Period. All right, moving down. Got the Ognot. This is the brown snake. So I did say to you guys that I have them all. I don't have the orange one, and I don't have the big head Han Solo, but I will be getting those. This 3PO, just for you guys out there that might be looking for the original 12-back 3PO, which is this one right here, it does have a different tint to it, just FYI. This one is definitely gold, and this one doesn't have quite, it's more of a silvery gold. And then the Wampa, that thing's huge. That thing's 2 feet tall. And a real hard one to get is this guy right here. He's a hard one. And then I made little frames, which I like to plaque the original that they did, which is cool. And then kind of down on this end, I did kind of the same thing. And then back up on the top here, you can see where they kept changing out. And it was cool because Kim Simmons actually did that original photography that we actually did an interview with. That's kind of cool to know. So yeah. And then on the very bottom, these are my latest ones that I just haven't opened because they're kind of hard to display. Which this was the Christmas version, and then the Carbonite. And this right here is a newer, it's a very rare one, but it's a display, a store display. And I don't know how I'm going to display it yet, but it's really cool because it kind of goes back to the vintage toys on the modern, I think, 97 era. And everybody knows the Sideshow Goguru, whatever it is. Moving down over here, here's the other side of the trench. And looking this way, you can see my buddy Mark Elkins, fantastic job. He whipped this bad boy out in literally a week. It's done out of all plexi and styrene, and of the everybody knows what that is. That's what caused the destruction of the Death Star. They call it the exhaust port. On the, if you want to get a closer look in on Red 5, you can see the details of Luke in there and the LEDs. And Luke has already been, he's getting ready to get blown up by his dad, and you can see R2's already been hit. He's kind of melted. You can see the oils from his head and stuff if you look in there. Really, really cool. So I've got some stuff over here that I will show you, staying high over here. I've got on the Gentle Giant, this is the Stormtrooper life size. This was the first, they call it the Monument Stormtrooper. So my wall of studio scale models that are being absolutely consumed by spider webs. It's getting bad. I need to get over here. So I'm going to name these off. So this is a Red 3. This is Biggs. This is a Ben Yetter. Beautiful model. Beautiful. This is another Yetter piece. This is Porkins, which everybody knows Porkins. That's red 6. A lot of people, and I'm one of them, that agree that the paint scheme on this, it's very rare and hard to find. You're limited on how this was painted and to know, but it's pretty damn close. Everybody knows and is familiar with Gold Leader. This is an Elkins, Mark Elkins. This was my second studio model ever. And when you see this compared next to the Archives model, it is spot on. Fantastic model. This is a red jammer. You don't see this one in the film. And it's a really kick-ass color. This is another Yetter piece. This is a custom piece right here. This is one of my favorites, and because it's the only one that exists at this time. I know there's a guy out there, Sean, that has a 5-foot that said that he's 3D printing one, and it's going to be very accurate. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm very humble about this one because my buddy Mike did it, and it wasn't 3D printed. It was scratch built. Look at this bad boy. This thing is awesome. It lights up. Got a little guy in there. This is all scratch built. Look at this. Comes off. Take a look inside the canopy. You can see the little screen. It's almost like you could read things in there, you know. It's so awesome. I wish you guys could be here to share all this with me. You know, there's times, you know, I'll just come in here at night and just chill out and just it just takes my mind off of all the crap that goes on in the world, you know. Moving on. This is a Salzo built this. I can't remember who created this, but to be clear, these are all studio scale. So these are the actual scale size that they used in the film. They do have this in a 1/24 scale, which is really cool. This is the studio escape pod. And I've said it before, but if everybody pays attention, and this is an argued deal as well, but I'm pretty confident that this was used as the family Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket. It's really cool. That's what was said, but I know that some people argue that. I've always wanted to ask one of the modelers, Steve Golly, I like to call him a friend of mine because we talk every once in a great while. If you're watching, Steve, hey, really cool piece. This is a D'Agostini, if I said that correctly. Yetter built this bin, and this was like the second model I had bought from him, and he is just an absolute wonder when it comes to paint. What I like about it with his paint schemes, sometimes he'll weather them up real good and make them look like they're used. I'm that guy who wants it to be accurate, but I don't do it for sell, for value, or anything like that. I do it because it's what I want, how I want that particular model. I do follow along with, just real quick, not to get too off, but a lot of these, if you notice, they don't have actual glass canopy windows. And the reason for that is because when they shoot, all the lighting, it would pose a glare. So yeah, it would make it a problem. So this one right here, this is a Return of the Jedi. Look how big this thing is. It's almost 2 feet. This is a Steve Neeson piece. I don't know the details behind it. Mike Salzo built this for me. Steve he is the leader of a clan that has built some amazing studio scale. His knowledge in the studio world, he's a major studio nerdball. Love you, Steve. Okay, moving on. This is TIE Fighter. Original, New Hope. Ben Yetter built this one for me. This was actually the first model I bought from Ben. They call the chili dog. Everyone says that. But this is the actual studio scale size that they used in the film. And isn't it cool, the background that I have on it? Just looking at it, it's really cool. And of course, we talked about this a second ago. This is the Return of the Jedi TIE Interceptor. This is a Randy Cooper custom build. And this one right here, again, is the Imperial transport. Not Imperial, my bad. The Rebel transport. And it does light up too. It's awesome, this piece. And this one came from Europe, crashed up, and then Mark Elkins completely finished it up and sold it to my buddy Mike, and then Mike let me take it over, and I appreciate him for that. So listen, that's the main part of the gallery. There are a lot of things that I don't have displayed correctly right now that we can get in and show at a later date. But so on the other side of this wall is where I go and chill out and watch movies. Let me show you that. Okay guys, thanks for taking the time to watch the updated video on the Ultimate Star Wars Gallery. You know, I hope that I can inspire you guys like you guys inspire me. We appreciate your support on Collection Wars. Gabe, you know you're my sidekick and I love you, brother. To all the people that I've met through Collection Wars, I'm so grateful. Star Wars, thank you so much. Kick it. All right.